Well, welcome. We're glad to have you back. It's been a bit of a while, along with vacation and a lot of really busy stuff going on in the universe. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that today because probably one of my most strongest intentions on this planet at this time is to not only feel and sense what energies are going on and what people are trying to work on in terms of their path and their soul growth. So I kind of scan the universe like some little flyer to see what's really going on. I look at the astrology with it as well, and then come across with some information that may be helpful during that period of time. So let's continue. Let's begin doing that. I mentioned before we were doing bird energy. This is one of the most beautiful feathers ever. It's an owl feather, and how you can tell an owl feather is on the top part of it, it's like fuzzy. It's just a real soft fuzz. So why am I bringing owl in? We're still working with air energy, getting ready to move into water, Cancer, but we're still gathering and trying to get the culmination of what's been happening for us during this air time, this mental consternation time when we're trying to figure things out. Now, one thing, I don't know if I've even mentioned it before, but you know, when we have an astrological sun sign that's also ruled by the planet Mercury, that deals most specifically with the mind. So I don't know about you, but I've been paying strong attention to what's been happening in terms of the mental processes that's going on. So some of that I'm going to get back into because we're just finishing it off. We're topping it off, so to speak, with this last full moon. This full moon was one of Sagittarius full moon, and in that process, the Sagittarius full moon asked us, inspired us to move higher in our ability to think loftier thoughts, to see things bigger on a bigger scale, on a bigger level. It's almost, usually it's very favorable in terms of sending energy to us. We are more optimistic. So some of you may say, I don't know, I didn't feel that, but we don't know what it would have been like if it hadn't been a Jupiterian kind of energy. So what I wanted to start with, and what's been kind of just going from spirit, going through my mind, is a saying that most of you know, and it does come from a very powerful group of people, the Al-Anon group, so to speak, or the people that are really working with addictions. And I really honor the work that's being done with that. And I did also hear something rather interesting too about that, is that, you know, we really can't fully become clear and clean in terms of addictions until we know what we're trying to hide from, or what we're trying to work on, or what is really causing the mere fact that we're going into some addictive patterns. So the saying is this, and I'm going to say it because it's a powerful prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Now that's where it gets tricky, especially with Gemini energy. It's like we can't change time, because time doesn't really even exist. It's only existing in our own minds. However, I'm observing that people actually are more stressed out around time than they are anything else. Timing and time, or what they perceive as time, seems to run them and frustrate them and place them out of balance. So I'm going to tell you a funny story that happened just this morning, actually. A girlfriend called me. She said, I'm very depressed. I said, what's that? What's going on? She said, well, in the first place, I can't get the assistance and the aids that I need for my daughter. And it's not happening. The people are not showing up for that. And I said, that's interesting. And then I described some things that were going on with me as well that had to do with timing. And I said, it seems like it's about timing, that we're not getting what we want in the timely manner by which we want it. So then she proceeds to go on and say, oh, by the way, I had some good luck, though. A guy came in and he didn't know anything about washing machines, and he came in and fixed my washing machine. He says, and all it was the timing mechanism on it had to be cleaned. And I thought, ooh. And she and I both began to laugh, because there it was again, this whole timing thing. Now, if we realize that time isn't anything other than something we've created ourselves, then we have the possibility of making friends with it. And here's how it works. Staying in the moment is one of the most difficult things that anyone has to do. Staying in this moment. In this very moment, everything is fine. In this very moment, I have enough of everything I need. In this very moment, my body's functioning, my mind's working. In this moment, this is all there is. So, it's the only thing I know of in all the years of practice that has assisted people in extremely stressful times. And I don't know about any of you out there, but in the world I'm in right now, there's a lot of stress going on. And resurgent, because it's summer, resurgence of illnesses, what they're calling, whatever they're calling it, viral, something, this or that or the other. So we are challenged. How can we handle that? Well, predominantly we handle it by staying in the moment. And what does that really mean? That means that we focus our energies on those things that bring us pleasure in the moment, those things that nourish us in the moment, and those things that we can do something about. Now, being able to tell the difference of whether you can do something about something is interesting. Some of us believe we can do something about things when it's just it's just strictly sit still and breathe. Sit still and breathe. So I know my methods are very extremely simple, and I hope some of you out there find them valuable, but it's they're not complicated, because complication doesn't work. Simplification does work. So let's go back to our owl, all right? They're very interesting people, those little owls. They mostly fly around at night. So nighttime is their time where they do most of their hooing or whatever sounds they make. They have been known down through the ages, symbolically or metaphorically, as wise teachers. If you've got an owl on your shoulder, you have wisdom. So let's call in Owl. Why not? Let's call him and let him sit on our shoulder. And we can talk to him even. In the shamanic sense of this, we talk to our allies and we ask them to help us. So if Owl is what's popping up right now, let's talk to our wisdom self, our higher self, and see what that says. And trust it. Trust what you're getting. Is there anything I can do about this right now? No. Okay, then, so what can I do? I can be still, or I can do whatever it is I feel like doing in that moment. So part of the reason I bring in these other little tools is not because they have any real power, but they have the power in terms of giving us perceptions that we can entertain our minds with, because these minds of ours are dangerous. I mean, I don't know how to say it any other way. Our minds are extremely dangerous. They can take us down the most harrowing paths you can possibly imagine. or they can bring us into the most sweetest sense of peace that you've ever experienced in your whole life. And guess who's the director? Oh boy, we are. So, I'm going to direct a lot today because I need that myself. So the next thing I'm going to direct us towards is two things I'm doing right now. And I have this stone, I have no idea. This is a Boujee Stone. It's in southern Utah. They like to say they're petrified dinosaur eggs or poop. I don't know exactly, but these little Boujee Stones come in male and female varieties. The female varieties have little spikes on them, little squares on them, and then the other ones they're smooth. So this is that. These little black stones came into my being in hordes, and I don't know except that I know that they're very grounding. So, what grounds our minds? Well, I think the stones work. Maybe it's just my imagination, but I like stones. I've liked stones since I was a child. They seem to talk to me. I seem to feel something from them. So that's why it works for me. If it doesn't for you, that's fine. But they are a pretty interesting distraction. And now what about that? What about distracting ourselves with things that are absolutely fascinating to us? Things that can take us into vital interest, and we can start asking questions about and raise our consciousness into this vital interest place. Some time back I did a YouTube on the tone scale. Vital interest was at the very, well, not the very top of the tone scale, but it was in a place where my teacher had just encouraged us if we could just stay in vital interest, then all things work towards the good of all. Because in vital interest, you actually are working on a higher frequency, and these other things that irritate our consciousness are not present. We're busy seeing these interesting things. So that's what I'm doing right now. These are my stones. I'm going to carry on. This is calcite. This is orange calcite. Helps break up all kinds of stuff. And it's quite beautiful, and it comes like this. It comes in a square. I don't know if you can actually see that, but it comes actually in a square, and this one is a watermelon variety. They come in all colors, come in yellow and green and white, and I'm trying to think some of the other colors, gold. So that's exciting. What we're looking at here is this one. This is lepidolite. I've shown this one before. And the reason I've shown it before is because this has been formed into a ball, which is quite lovely. But the reason I've shown it is because this is one that helps calm and smooth the worried mind, you might say. And it's called lepidolite. It's quite beautiful. These purple stones help us feel more of the energy of higher frequencies in our minds, more connected to source, which is part of the message today. Is the connection to source is quite valuable, because it's like that's the only real consciousness that can hold us in that oneness space when we can reach that place and time. So meditating, which I've mentioned before, is really powerful. And as you're meditating with the chakra systems. Now, for years I've worked with the chakra systems in terms of working with issues in the chakra systems. Not so much what it does, because it does have a physical function, mental, emotional, and spiritual function. And but I've worked with it from the standpoint of what are some of the issues that get housed in each one of these chakras. So right now, as I viewed humanity and what's going on with humanity, we're really working with those 6th and 7th chakras right now. So that means that if we can be in touch with a higher frequency of whatever is going on. Meaning, if you're looking at a tree, look how beautiful the colors are. Look at the bark. Look how it works. You know, going into seeing a deeper depth of what that image is for you, or what you're actually experiencing with it, takes you into vital interest, a higher frequency on the tone scale. So I also have today something rather interesting. I hope I'm not jumping around too much here, but what I'm doing is what that energy is doing, and that is all kinds of thoughts and agendas and belief systems and rights and wrongs and all of the business that's going on right now on this planet is extremely disconcerting to our souls, because the soul is simple. You can always know when you're talking to your own soul, because the soul says things in very few words and very simple explanations of what's happening. So when you do your work and you actually ask your higher self from a place of higher frequency, you know, what is it I can do right now? What do I want right now? What will work for me right now? If we can do that at those key moments, it can save our sanity, if nothing else. It will save our sanity. So I have a deck of cards that is so humorous. I don't know where it came from. It's years and years old. I haven't used it a lot because it's so unusual. It has to do with humor and expression and emotions. So I thought it might be kind of fun, and I don't even know what the name of them is. I don't know, maybe some of you out there have seen these cards before. I don't know. But I find them extraordinary because not only is the picture of what needs to be done on an actual tarot reading. And by the way, do keep in mind that all you need to do is contact me, and you too can do a reading with me, because I have a lot of different interesting ways of going about it. So this one, when you look into the character, there's an emotional expression on the face of the character and they're beautiful. They're beautifully done. Okay, so I'm going to pull a card. Now, what am I doing right now? Remember, I told you up front what I'm doing today. I'm distracting us. I'm putting into play some things that are interesting and vitally interesting from a higher frequency for information or from just interest in general. Isn't that better than sitting and wondering how we're going to get something done and why something hasn't taken place that we want done right now? And like my friend, finding out that the symbol that shows up is a time switch on her washing machine is the problem. Whoa, we had a good laugh this morning. Okay, I'm going to pull one. And I'm going to put it right up close so that we can see what it is. I'm going to give it to you first because I don't. Is it upside? Is it in the right side? Yeah. Ooh. Okay. This one's the Ace of Pentacles. The Ace of Pentacles. This is about focusing on what's to your advantage right now. And this is showing a road that you can head in to find your castle, so to speak. Find your home. Now, I find this particularly interesting because that is exactly where I'm at as a soul on her path, is looking at where's my castle, where's my space, and there's the rabbit. Now, usually when it's a pentacle, it means that there's a time frame involved with this card, but it's not specific. It's like a year, or is already in fruition right now, which I'm choosing to see that that's what's going on right now. Now let's do another one because I'd like you to see the facial look, because we're going to do the emotion. In my practice, we work with true emotions. That's the only place we can get to the truth, is to really tap in on what's in our hearts and what's resonating for us. Oh, look at him. Oh boy, oh boy. The King of Swords. Look at that expression on his face. Swords represent the mind. This guy's pretty serious about what he's about. And he's a king. So he does have the gift. He knows how to focus. He knows the one-pointedness of everything. So his message is, let's get this done. Let's focus. Whatever it is in this moment, let's do it. Distraction can serve us if there's nothing to do except just be. Then distract yourself into something lovely, something that enlightens you. However, if you're distracting with the idea of getting off the point of where you need to be, then that's a whole other story, isn't it? He's quite handsome. And he's serious. All of these have these expressions that just, you don't even have to know what the card's about. You can just see the expression. Okay. Hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to pull one more only. This is for all of us now. Oh, and we got the Queen to go in the mix. So what this is telling me in this reading is look at the serenity of her. She represents the earth, the material, the things that are important in the physical. It has money. It has to do with things. It has to do with the earth itself. She's lovely, isn't she? It shows her serenity, the stillness. The other day, I went with a friend to the park and just laid in the grass, and I thought, is this the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced? Because I laid there with my back on the grass, on the green grass, and let the earth just move up through my body. It was amazing, invigorating, to say the least. Okay. Let me go in for a moment, and I haven't done this very often, but I was told today that I needed to do this. I'm going to do a very short channeling and call in some higher assistance for all of us today. In other words, we're bypassing this rabbit brain or this little busy brain, monkey brain, and we're going to bypass that and go into a higher frequency. So stay with me while I bring in a channeling from the higher realms. Thank you. Be still and know. All things move in exact flow to the universal source, with the purpose of bringing in more light, awareness, love, and compassion. We are asking that you apply these things most particularly to yourself. And we're saying yourself first, that you may hold your balance on the planet in a way that serves not only yourself but others. The gift we give you at this time is the ability to see from all realms, all possibilities, releasing limitation and releasing how it may appear, for that's the illusion. Trust in the divine source. We are always with you, guiding you, assisting you, and holding you in our arms. Well, that was lovely. As I am, and hopefully you are adjusting your energies at this time, I'm going to do a little bit of YouTube business as we're shifting. We had told you in the last YouTube that we're starting a class on astrological sexuality. It isn't exactly what it sounds like. What it is letting you know through your own astrological chart what your nature is in using and utilizing sexuality to your own highest good for the intention it was brought to the planet. Sexuality is an incredible gift. And when we understand our nature better, that's what we bring forth. So this is a 4-week class. All information about this class, if you'll roll down, you'll find all the information necessary and how to sign up for it. It's going to be 4 classes starting July 13th, and it will go through consecutively 4 classes. If you do not have an astrological chart, you need to contact me, and I can draw up a chart for you. So if the question is asked, what is your placement in your own sexuality, your own circle, because each lifetime is different. We have different functions with it. And in astrology, we work with the 1st and 7th house. We work with Mars and Venus. And hopefully you step away with a better understanding of how you want to direct it. It has long been I'm not going to say a frustration, but a sadness more for me that people are misusing this beautiful gift of sexuality. So astrology can actually serve you in terms of knowing how it can serve you. So please come and be with us in this class. It's going to be taught in a classroom type setting, and you may even get to ask questions in regards to it. So get yourself signed up. We're starting July 13th, and all the instructions as to how to go about it are going to be shown at the bottom of the page here, or the bottom of the YouTube. Well, this has been unusual today, but we are in a transition. We're moving into Cancer, the Cancerian energy. It's more emotional, it's deeper, it's quieter. We'll find the relief in our minds, at least. Be able to be a little softer inside of our little monkey brains. And remember that all things are working toward the highest good. I thank all of you who are interested in showing up for this YouTube. It's my pleasure, and good afternoon. Bye now.